And folks, we are live. Mike Kegley here with Kedrick Prince, and it is quite the game, 37-32. Kedrick
Mike, can you hear
Morez
me?
has proved he has some real opportunities, and when he gets them, he can help this team.
Oh, without a doubt. No matter what, Mike, you know what? This team is loaded with a lot of talent. They really and truly are. But right now, it's little things that they need to do. And I'm going to tell you just real quickly. I want to see them run a little bit more. And Morez is a guy you mentioned that can help this team. I want to see them get out, and I want to see them push the ball. They haven't pushed the ball a lot since early in the season. I think they're just settling to be a half-court team, and that's not what Illinois has traditionally done.
Yeah, and I also think they've done a really good job of dealing with the mucking up of the game that Missouri's done. I do think the zone has caused some issues for Illinois, and I really thought that they had KJ open as he was circling around the free throw line area extended several times. They just didn't get the ball into him, and that's how you break a zone is you get it into the middle of the guts. Although I'm not certain KJ's the guy who might not turn over the ball a few times when he gets it in there.
Mike, he's done that a lot. And that's just like we said, you got to take the good with the bad with him, I guess. And, it's what it is. But I'll tell you what, I went right away, as soon as Ivisic went out, they went to that zone. So they've done a really good job of scouting Illinois, I think, in my personal opinion, because like I said, when he went out of the game, they went to that zone. So they must know something, obviously, because he can shoot the ball really, really well, from the perimeter. So that could be some of the reason why they have to try to find a way to get him involved again as well. And like you mentioned, I'm just really, really glad that Morez is giving them some quality minutes and he's making plays. I mean, right now, this is a low-scoring game for me. I just like to see him get up and down, and I hope, next press conference I go to, I'm asking that. I really want to see them do that because I think they're losing point production. But you're right about the middle of the floor with the pass to KJ. And Mike, was really funny. There was one sequence where Trey Wright was in the middle of the floor. He dribbled out of a shot, just shoot it. But I think they're so worried about the analytical part of the game. He eventually made the shot. It was open for like 5 minutes. Just shoot it. They're playing a zone. You're not going to be able to get a 3 in the layup every time. So, but if that's what they're playing an analytical game, I guess so be it. But to me, I'm taking the 2 points. I'm not going to turn it over and turn down 2 points.
Yeah, you got to take what the defense gives you. I do think, you don't want to make a living on hard twos, but you do. If people are going to give you easy twos, you're going to take them. And that's what we've done. And I do think the rebounding, you're talking 23-9 difference. And this team, when they have Boswell is hunting down balls, Morez certainly, Ivisic is doing a fine job. Trey White's in there. I really think that this Will Riley. I mean, this team's rebounding. That may be the difference because this is a physical Missouri team that's got some talent and they've got some quick twitch. I mean, these guys, you're going to have to go after the boards, and I wouldn't have thought Illinois would be that dominant despite how good they've been this year. But this really shows when they want to get the boards, they can do it.
You know what? You're right. And I'm going to tell you what I want to see too. I will tell you right now, when Will Riley, got to get it out, tongue twister here, when Will Riley catches fire again, this is going to be a really, really tough team. He finds a way to get open, and he's open. He's got some really good looks. Once those shots starts to go down for him, it's going to be I think the team will change. I think teams will be forced to have to say, hey, you know what, we got to pick our poison and who we're going to go out and who we're going to stop on the perimeter. Because right now, I mean, he's 1 for 6, he's 1 for 4 from 3, but he does have 2 rebounds and he has 3 points. So I'll take that. But he needs to knock down a couple more of those threes for me. And how about the job Kylan Boswell's doing? You know what? Here's a guy, I'm going to throw a name out there for those people listening to us right now at the half. He reminds me of a lot of Trent Frazier. I mean, just refuses to be screened. He gets his lower sense of gravity is so low, and his legs are so strong. It's almost impossible to screen him. He does a tremendous job of guarding.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And again, I've told you, he gives me a little bit of the Bruce Douglas feel because he uses that body. I mean, he uses his physical skills to give himself an advantage on the floor, and it takes a guy in really good shape, and it takes some intention. And he thinks about what he's doing, and he goes out there and uses that physique that he's worked on and God gave him to his advantage. I really thought that this was an interesting game. I want to see how Ivisic does. I think early on the quickness and physicality kind of surprised him a little bit, but I thought he played a little bit better. And Rickhouse, let's face it, Missouri basically almost looked like they had a red flag that dropped every time a guy was guarded by him to try to take him to the hole. And I thought that, once Morez got in there, I thought it helped their defense. Now, maybe the Illini floor spacing isn't quite perfect when you have Morez out there, but on the defensive end, you can't give up that much, at least not unless the guy's, giving the same amount of baskets on the other end for the Illini.
Mike, I'm going to tread some water. I'm going to be really careful when I make this comment. People need to understand my job as an analytic is to be honest. I'm not criticizing him as a player, as a person. I'm just not. But I don't care about the analytics. I'm not blind. You saw the same thing, and who said on these podcasts at halftime and after games when they played Northwestern, I will bet my house and my truck. I said it a million times that teams are going to use this against them, and they're going to do it. And the first play of the game, that's what Missouri did. They went right at him, and they did. I think he gave up 8 points, and it's not a secret. And I want to say it again. It's going to happen the next time they play and the time after that because they know. And it's not a knock on him. It's what they're doing. And I'm not going to sit here and say I'm worried about the floor spacing. I'm worried about production. If Morez is going to clog that middle of the floor up, he's going to get offensive rebounds, he's going to put putbacks, so be it. End of the day, it's about win and losses. The analytical, that sounds beautiful. I think it's a great word, but to me right now, it's overused. And with what I'm seeing, that's my opinion. We can agree to disagree, but I know this. I know teams will continue to attack him, and he needs to knock down some shots, not just,
but give him shots he can. Give him shots he can make. Look, we both coached. You know how hard it is to make a living when all you're going to do is come in and supposed to hit threes. He was one of the best pick and roll players in the country last year. Let him get involved in the pick and roll a little bit. Give him a couple of layups on the inside. Let him build his confidence, then step out and try that first three. This is like really, really old style basketball.
It's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. Let's call it what it is, Mike. You're exactly right. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, and I said, okay, for the people out there listening, I'm just going to be honest. I sent Mike a video. If you go back and look at the video and if you follow me, I'll send it to you, how effective he was in pick and roll and catch and shoot. It was different. Right now, he's just a three-point shooter. And his defense, you know what, that's been suspect. But if you're going to give up that many points, I would certainly like to see you score on the offensive end. So you're right, Mike. He needs to be more intuitive with the offense, and I don't know if that's what they're calling for. I don't know. I'm not a coach on the staff. I'm not even questioning them. I'm just saying, from my perspective, I wouldn't do that because right now teams are going to continue to do it, and as soon as they see him, they literally go at him right away. I mean, and that's what's tough for me is I feel bad for the kid, and he's trying. And there was one thing I want to say about him. He's cautious of it because he tries so hard to block out a person. Sometimes it's kind of overrated. Just go get the rebound. There was one time where the shot went up, which is what you're taught to do. You are to go find the person, but he'll lose a rebound because he's so cautious. Sometimes that's why I'm sick of the word analytics. You have to play the game. If you can go to the rebound, just go get it. You know what I'm saying to you? So I'm okay with that. That's why I don't understand why, you can use that. That's fine. But on the flip side of it, you also just want them to make plays, regardless of how it's made. whether it's a 2-point shot, 3-point shot. For the people out there with analytics, so if the game is tied at 86-86, and you're going to go to analytics and you have a wide open layup, you shouldn't. I mean, a 15-foot mid-range shot, you shouldn't shoot it. You should shoot a 3 or layup. The eye test still matters. It still matters no matter how people look at it. But moving past that, focusing on the game, this is a win that they need for a lot of reasons. Just because I think for Big Ten SEC purposes, Purdue got embarrassed, yesterday. They the Big Ten needs this, and Illinois will be 2-2 against Big Ten. And William, you're right. Morez is just a beast in the post, and he's not afraid of contact. If he got a lot of minutes, I would be really surprised, Mike, and you and I are both fans of his, how good he really be if he got 20, 25 minutes a game.
Yeah. Morez is one of those guys where he's more than you think he is, and I do think when you look at Morez, he's a guy who is going to accomplish things because he is going to play at 100% when other people take a second off. And that's just, look, we've all had those players on our teams. Rarely are they 6'9" and can jump out of the gym and do all the things that Morez can do. So I do think there's a place for him. Now, as far as people asking, what does Jake Davis do out there? He provides you a couple minutes when you need him. And I will tell you one thing. If you watch Jake and you watch him when he's setting picks and you watch him on the defensive end, he bodies up people.
He does.
He mucks stuff up. And I'm telling you, that is important. And I know it doesn't mean a lot, but I used
don't
to
show
try
up in
to,
the box score, Mike. Sorry,
Yeah.
It doesn't show up in the box score. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I used to try to coach my teammates my teams by actually guarding them, and I would go through the lane, and they'd be like, "What are you banging into me for?" Well, I'd bang into one of the guys who was, playing, like I was on offense and playing defense. I'd bang into one of them, and then his guy would get an open shot because I made some contact in the lane, and it's really easy to do. And he looks like he's coached by some old guy like me. So that's where I think those little things. He's only playing 2 minutes. You know what I mean? They're not putting him out there for 20. Right. But I do think this team. I think this is a very, very challenging Missouri team, because what I like about what they do, and I think Coach Gates has coached this really well, Ked. I like your feedback. But they constantly go at the basket. They go at the basket, and if you're not going to try to stop them, they're going to try to make a layup. And if you get in their way, they go to the free throw line. I think that's a little bit of a lost art in basketball because everybody loves the three so much.
That's why I said analytics, and at the end of the day, it's okay to have them, but you have to use eye contact. And Mike, just so you know, I don't know if you heard it during the game. I think they lead the country in field goal attempts or free throw percentage, because they attack the basket. They wanted to get to the free throw line.
Yeah, and I think that's something, again. I think, Jacusiones does the same thing. He goes a lot. Now, he doesn't have quite the athleticism that a couple of these guys have, but he's constantly going to the hoop. And I do think that what the Missouri guys do is you don't see them fading away on a shot. They're going into a guy. And I saw, I didn't think one of Morez's calls was really that great. I thought one of Humrichhaus's and one of Avicic's, those guys basically were just holding their ground, but Missouri did such a good job of attacking the basket that they ended up with, 6 free throws out of those, or 8 free throws. So I think that is something that Illinois could do better, and Missouri does it wonderfully. And boy, the game film, you could learn a lot from the way Missouri attacks the basket.
They do, and that's what they want to do, and they're athletic enough to do it. What Illinois can't do right now, they need Beasley to be the Beasley that they saw against Arkansas. That's what they need again. They need to get him going again and to look for him. I think early on, they missed a couple slip screens for him because he got fouled trouble, Mike, based on what you just said, because they attacked him and they know he's going to block shots. So keeping the defender in front of them, the defense always starts, at the top. And if you get broken down off the top, you're in trouble, and that's what they're trying to do. Kylan makes it tough to do. And I will be honest, because I've been negative, critical of KJ's turnovers. He has improved defensively. A lot of people don't see it, but you're not beating him off the dribble like they used to, because if you look at it right now, Missouri's 9-12 from the free throw line, like you mentioned, because they're getting to the free throw line. Illinois is 6 for 6. They've only got 6 attempts, but they're shooting 100%. So I'll take that.
Yeah, and somebody asked, does KJ's 3 turnovers cancel their offense? No, they don't. But what happens in a close game is you want him to be as careful as he can be without losing his identity, because in the end, if he has 6 turnovers, what happens if those 3 additional possessions in a close game can mean the difference. And then sometimes you're lucky and you give up the ball and you get it back. But that's why the offensive rebounding is so critical for Illinois, because they are piling up additional possessions that they would not have if it wasn't for that intensity on the boards.
I agree. They need to keep it up. We need another guy. We need another guy to step up this half. Hopefully it's going to be a Beasley, but they need that right away.
Yep. So, folks, they are just about to go back to the game. So we are going to let you tune in to the second half of Illinois versus Missouri, with the Illini starting off with a 37-32 lead. And, of course, Ked and I will be here after the game. You got to give us probably 10 minutes, and then we will be on, and we can do this all over again and hopefully talk about an Illini victory. Until we meet again, go Illini.